I was testing out the latest and greatest of AI to use it for software development, and we recorded it so that people could see where it actually works well and where it does not, and get an idea about the time it saves. Well, it turns out that video is actually really long. Now, I've included it, and you can find it under the Heavy Resume account, but I think most people don't want to sit through and watch that unless they have something very specific they want to see, like a specific background. If you're a software engineer, you might want to take a look at it. If you're a decision maker, you might want to understand the limitations of AI better, and you might want to look at it for that reason. For everyone else, you probably don't want to watch me work for 40 minutes. So this video is going to cut straight to like the point, and it's going to end with my learnings from going through this, and hopefully you enjoy it. So I'm sort of doing an experiment. I want to see what's capable with AI right now. Right, so I need to sign in. I'm going to pause so I can sign in. And that took like 1 minute, if even. So this is probably the future of white collar work. Even though I'm a developer doing this, you could definitely see this moving on to other things. I have this task, please go do this task. And it's going to integrate with something and whatnot. If it can be converted into text, an LLM can manipulate it. All right, so I'm being a combo of intentionally ambiguous while trying to also at least give it a little enough to move it forward. This isn't what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it and reset things. And let's ask it, please update the index.html renderer so that one can provide a no script section. That's it. That's what I'm going to tell it. Let's see what it does. All right, it seems okay. There it is. Let me disable it. Refresh again. That works. That looks good. So what did we learn about using the latest and greatest of AI? Well, we found that it did a decent job finding things to change and made changes across multiple files. We found that it could quickly write foundations and code that could be used as a template, and it was able to provide quick answers when it was asked questions. But it did also fall short in some areas. So, for example, it doesn't seem like that it has very good intuition, and it generally doesn't ask clarifying questions. So it makes decisions with a bit of tunnel vision. It's at the mercy of the environment it's in as well. If the code base is ambiguous or has confusing things in it, the AI is going to fall for them just like a human would. Additionally, knowing how to set up the environment, it kind of requires knowing what everything is used for and why it's done that way, which is something that AI probably doesn't know. Finally, it seems like giving instructions, you really should be technical. If you're not, you're going to find it quickly writing the wrong thing. So that brings up the last question, is AI taking your job? Well, because it requires quality, unambiguous instructions, it actually kind of requires that you already know how to do this stuff. And if you don't, then you're at some point going to get stuck. It's not a human, so it can't guess intent as well as a human. So it does get instructions from a human. There are things you and I understand because we live life as normal, and AI, it experienced life through a much different way than we did. And so it's not going to guess about things as well as we do. I would say that if your job was to take very well written instructions and then convert them to code, and then someone else made sure that it wasn't bad, then yeah, your job is definitely being taken by AI. And I will say that I've heard about such sort of loops when you talk about offshoring teams and such. So I could see that potentially obsoleting offshore teams. Now, what surprised me is that when I looked at the results that I was writing down, I realized that the words I was using basically described my opinion of AI a year ago. So even AI has gotten better, it seems like the use cases and your ability to be hands off are still limited. That makes me think that if you were to look at this and say that, okay, AI advances is likely following an S curve, then we are starting to approach the top of it, which suggests that things are going to slow down a lot more. In other words, you're going to have to start targeting things use case by use case, and it's just going to get exponentially harder to get things working great to the point where a human could be hands off. It's worth calling out that we're using the AI to make very specific changes to a project, and we're not using the AI to do what's called greenfield development, which is where you actually have it build something from scratch. Based off of what I've heard, it seems like AI is probably a lot better at greenfield because it has a lot less restrictions on what things are, and it can produce code in a way that it knows how to consume and build off of. So we'll see how that performs in a future video. On the next video, what we're going to do is I'm going to have it actually try to do the merge of the remaining changes from my code to the original code base, and it's going to be a very challenging merge even if you're a human, because the code bases have changed dramatically. So getting those features in and being able to thoroughly merge them is going to be hard.